Look, you're not late. You're not behind. But somebody convinced you that you are, and that lie is stealing your life right now. Every time you scroll through social media, every time you see an old classmate's success, every time your family asks, "When are you going to?" you feel it, that crushing weight of delay. Here's what nobody tells you: you're running a race that was never yours to begin with. In the next minutes, I'm going to show you how to stop racing ghosts and start living your actual life. You wake up and it's already ticking. That invisible stopwatch in your mind that measures you against everyone else's timeline. By 25, you should have this. By 30, you must achieve that. By 40, if you haven't reached here, you've failed. Pay attention to something crucial. These deadlines aren't laws of nature, they're social conditioning dressed up as wisdom. The pressure you feel isn't coming from reality, it's coming from a narrative you've internalized without questioning. Think about this for a moment. When did you decide that your worth was tied to hitting certain milestones by certain ages? You didn't. Society decided for you, and you accepted the programming. The comparison trap is so subtle that you don't even realize you're in it until you're drowning in anxiety every time someone younger succeeds or someone your age moves ahead. This isn't wisdom, this is a prison you've built with borrowed blueprints. Here's the truth that'll set you free: your life operates on a different frequency than anyone else's. The concept of delay only exists when you're measuring yourself against someone else's watch. Stop letting other people's calendars define your seasons. Let that sink in. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Whose life are you actually trying to live? Because I guarantee it's not fully yours. You've constructed this persona, this ideal version of yourself, based on what you think success should look like. The house, the career, the relationship status, the bank account. But whose definition of success is that? Your parents'? Your culture's? Instagram's? You're exhausted because you're performing in a play you never auditioned for. The Bible says in Proverbs 14 verse 12, "There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death." That's exactly what this is, a path that looks right because everyone else is walking it, but it's killing your authentic self slowly. You've adopted their timeline, their milestones, their definition of making it, and now you're wondering why you feel so empty even when you achieve things. It's because those achievements were never aligned with your true purpose. Napoleon Hill wrote, "The starting point of all achievement is desire." Not someone else's desire for you, your desire. But you can't even hear your own desires anymore because they're buried under layers of conditioning and expectation. The awakening begins when you stop and ask, what do I actually want? Not what would impress people. What lights up your soul? Until you answer that honestly, you'll always feel behind, because you're chasing finish lines that were never meant for you. Stop right here. Close your eyes for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, am I living my timeline or performing someone else's script? Be honest. Now keep listening. Comparison is the thief of joy, you've heard that before. But let me tell you what it really steals. It steals your awareness of your own progress. When you're constantly measuring yourself against others, you become blind to your actual growth. You can't see how far you've come because you're obsessed with how far they've gone. This mechanism in your mind is destroying your ability to appreciate your own journey. Here's what happens neurologically. Your brain releases stress hormones every time you engage in upward social comparison. You're literally poisoning yourself with anxiety each time you scroll through someone's highlight reel and compare it to your behind-the-scenes footage. The pressure builds. The feeling of being late intensifies. And you start making desperate decisions just to catch up, taking jobs you hate, entering relationships that don't serve you, spending money you don't have to project an image of success. Listen carefully, there is no universal timeline. Your 30s aren't late for anything. Your 40s aren't too old for new beginnings. These are just numbers. The only thing that makes them mean something is the story you tell yourself about them. Change the story, and you change your entire experience of time. You're not in delay, you're in preparation. You're not behind, you're exactly where you need to be for what's coming next. Freedom comes when you finally accept that your pace is perfect for you. Not lazy, perfect. There's a massive difference between procrastination and proper timing. Some things in your life needed to happen slowly. Some lessons required years to learn. Some doors needed to stay closed until you were truly ready to walk through them. What you call delay, the universe calls development. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Your season doesn't look like their season. Your harvest time isn't their harvest time. Stop abandoning your field to go work in someone else's garden just because their crops are visible right now. Your seeds are germinating underground where you can't see them, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Trust the process, even when the process looks like stillness. Pay attention to the people who actually made a lasting impact. Moses was 80 when God called him to lead the Exodus. But here's what matters more. He spent those 80 years becoming the person capable of leading that Exodus. This isn't about waiting for late success. This is about becoming whole now, regardless of what comes later. Your breakthrough doesn't have an expiration date. Stop living like you're running out of time and start living like you're being prepared for something extraordinary. Breathe. You're not reading this by accident. Something in you knows you needed to hear this. What you're feeling right now, that mixture of relief and recognition, that's the truth resonating. Keep going. The anxiety you feel about being behind is a signal, but not the signal you think it is. It's not telling you to speed up. It's revealing that you're living in misalignment with your authentic path. Every time you feel that crushing pressure, it's your soul saying, "This isn't your race." But instead of listening, you interpret it as "run faster." That's how the trap works. Your inner wisdom is trying to redirect you, and you're using it as motivation to run harder in the wrong direction. Let me give you a practical example. Sarah spent her 20s watching friends get married, buy houses, and have children. She felt delayed, broken, behind schedule. The anxiety was overwhelming. At 35, she finally met her partner. Looking back, she realized that every relationship she almost settled for would have been a disaster. The delay she feared was actually protection. The anxiety she felt was her intuition screaming, "Not yet. Not this." Wait for alignment. The antidote to this anxiety isn't achievement, it's awareness. Become aware of the thoughts creating the pressure. "I should be further along by now." Says who? People my age have accomplished more. Which people? "I'm running out of time." Based on what evidence? When you shine the light of awareness on these thoughts, they lose their power. Your job isn't to run faster. Your job is to wake up to the fact that you're running someone else's race entirely. You've been building a persona, the successful you, the accomplished you, the made-it version of yourself. And you're exhausted because maintaining a persona requires constant performance. But underneath that persona is a person. A real human being with unique rhythms, specific gifts, individual timing. The person you actually are doesn't need to compete with anyone. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Not who you think you should be. Not who would make others proud. Who you truly are." But you can't become yourself while you're busy trying to become someone else's idea of success. Every moment spent in comparison is a moment stolen from self-discovery. Here's the shift that changes everything. Stop asking, "Am I where I should be?" and start asking, "Am I becoming more authentically myself?" That's the only measurement that matters. Are you more honest than you were last year? More aligned? More courageous? More connected to your purpose? These things can't be measured against anyone else's timeline because they're completely unique to you. This is the process, not achievement, but becoming. Not arriving, but waking up to who you've always been beneath the conditioning. You think the point is the destination, the degree, the promotion, the relationship, the income level. But what if the point is actually the process? What if every delay, every setback, every moment you felt behind was sculpting you into someone capable of handling what's coming? The pressure you feel to arrive is preventing you from appreciating the transformation happening right now. Romans 5 verses 3-4 says, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." Every challenge you faced that made you feel behind was actually pushing you forward in ways you couldn't see. Every closed door that felt like rejection was actually protection. Every no that felt like failure was actually redirection. This isn't about becoming successful later. It's about becoming whole now. When you understand that the process itself is valuable, not just the outcome, you stop racing and start growing. And ironically, that's when real progress happens. Let that sink in. Here's a question that will change your life if you answer it honestly. What if you're not behind at all? What if you're exactly on schedule for a story that's bigger than you currently imagine? Sit with that. The awakening happens in layers. First, you realize you've been measuring yourself against arbitrary standards. Then, you recognize that those standards were never yours to begin with. Finally, you understand that you have your own timeline, your own rhythm, your own perfect unfolding. This isn't just positive thinking, this is fundamental truth about how life actually works. Your path has its own logic, its own timing, its own wisdom. Trust it. Even when, especially when, it doesn't match anyone else's. The moment you stop trying to live on someone else's timeline is the moment your actual life begins. Everything before that was rehearsal, preparation, education. But this awareness, this awakening to your unique path, this is where your real story starts. You're not behind. You're not late. You're waking up. And that awakening is right on time for everything that's about to unfold in your life. The question isn't, why did this take so long? The question is, what am I being prepared for that required this exact journey? Think about that. Let's get practical. How do you actually break free from this prison of comparison and pressure? First, eliminate the inputs that trigger comparison. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Stop attending events where the primary activity is status comparison. Create boundaries with people who constantly remind you of where you should be. This isn't running away, this is protecting your mental environment so you can hear your own voice again. Second, establish your own metrics for success. What does a good day look like for you? Not for society, not for your parents, for you. Maybe it's learning something new. Maybe it's helping someone. Maybe it's simply being present and peaceful. Define success in terms that resonate with your actual values, then measure yourself against that standard alone. This is how you reclaim your power from the external validation machine. Third, practice gratitude for where you are right now. Philippians 4 verse 11 says, "I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances." This isn't settling. This is recognizing that your present moment contains everything you need for your next step. You can't get to your future by rejecting your present. You get there by fully inhabiting now, extracting its lessons, and moving forward from a place of wholeness rather than desperation. Your breakthrough is in this moment, not some future achievement. Here's what waits on the other side of this awakening: freedom. Real freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to be who you actually are without apology or comparison. Freedom from the exhausting performance of trying to impress people who don't matter with achievements that don't fulfill you. Freedom to move at your own pace, trust your own process, and build a life that actually resonates with your soul. This freedom doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow from a place of alignment rather than fear. You pursue goals because they genuinely call to you, not because you're trying to prove you're not behind. And here's the paradox: when you stop racing against others and start walking your own path at your own pace, you often move faster and further than you ever did when you were anxious and comparison-driven. The greatest discovery of your life won't be an achievement. It'll be the realization that you were never behind, never late, never insufficient. You were always exactly where you needed to be, learning what you needed to learn, becoming who you needed to become. So stop racing against ghosts. Stop measuring yourself against timelines that were never yours. Your life is happening right now. Not when you achieve something. Right now. This moment. This perfectly timed, exactly as it should be life. Live it. You came here feeling behind. I hope you're leaving knowing you never were. The race you thought you were losing was never yours to run. Your timeline is perfect. Your pace is exactly right. Stop comparing. Stop rushing. Stop apologizing for being exactly where you are. The awakening you needed wasn't about how to catch up. It was about realizing there's nothing to catch up to. Your life is waiting. Not in some future achievement, but right here, right now. Go live it.